Thank you for joining me for another ITY video with top Australian and international IT executives. Today I have with me Chris Riddell. He is a well-known and sought-after and award-winning futurist, strategist, global emerging trend spotter, and inspirational keynote speaker on digital. Welcome to the program.
Thanks very much.
So you're in Sydney today,
Yep.
and you're the host, we can see here behind us, the Future Transport Summit 2016. Can you please give us a quick wrap of what happened today?
Today was really about setting the scene for the future for the New South Wales government when it comes to transport. There's no doubt whatsoever, technology now is at the centre of any organisation. It's the focus for any business now to really try to move into that next area. In fact, the Minister himself, Andrew Constance, said today that they are now a technology business as the New South Wales government transport industry. And for them, the future now is understanding how they can create a culture within the department to really help small businesses now to become a part of this future. And I think for me that's the exciting business. It's not just about technology, culture is a huge part of it as well.
Yeah, and I mean, just even from a really basic point of view, today, in today's news, they're talking about how instead of using the Opal card, you could be using simply your credit card to get onto trains and buses, which is something you're doing in London. So, I mean, that's not even the future, it's already the past.
It's already here, and it's like lots of other technology as well. Driverless cars were a big topic as well today, autonomous vehicle. And let's be really honest, this isn't now future tech we're talking about. Tesla have got their autopilot function within their car. They've had that for a long time now already. We're able to buy Tesla here in Australia at the moment. You can get in, you can take your hands off the steering wheel. I was driving one in Melbourne just recently, 15 minutes. I didn't even touch the steering wheel on the freeway. That shows it's here now.
It's
the
incredible.
big question then is what's next? Where's this going to go? The challenge is again then around tech. As technology now, it's overtaken us as human beings.
Sure.
We've lost control of that bit, and the question now is how do we make that work for us?
Now, I understand you've just been hosting this entire event for a day, and it's, as we record, it's like 5 o'clock, so you probably want some nanobots. You wish you could have them in your brain to re-energize you. But look, just thanks for persevering, and thank you for being part of the interview. As a futurist and an emerging trend spotter, what do you see happening over the rest of 2016, the rest of the decade, and what do you see beyond? And have you published a top 10 list, or where can people find more about some of your predictions, besides at your website, chrisriddell.com, which I'll have linked to on the website?
Yeah, look, there's lots of things that are going on over the next couple of years. And when I talk about the future, I look at the stuff in the next 12 to 24 months, rather than where some of the other futurists work in that 10, 15 year space. The things for me that are still going to be big this year, so not really even into the future, are things like customer experience from a non-technology perspective. We're still not getting this right. Organizations, business, the reason this topic keeps on coming up, 2015 it was a big topic, 2016 we're still seeing it as a topic. We're not getting it right. Customer experience is still not the focus that it should be. A classic example is the taxi industry still are letting themselves down by thinking they can fight their way out of the Uber situation by just creating an app.
Yeah.
An app, a website, social media is not going to get you out of a situation where you're not delivering to the customer's expectations, and that is why we're still having these conversations.
And also in places like Asia, I was hearing a stat, 49% of young people are now buying things over their phones. So the customer experience play is not happening in stores, it has to happen on your device and in the app. And like you're saying, just an app by itself is not enough.
It isn't. You won't find your way out of this situation by just creating an app. And I think that's a really fundamental part of where the taxi industry has let itself down. It's continuing to let itself down there. But for me, where I'm going to look and see where this is going now, is actually Uber and the taxi industry need to start to work together, because other competition is going to come into this place, and we're going to see a really big fight come out in that space.
Sure, and I understand that you publish at your LinkedIn page more,
Absolutely.
talks about the future.
Follow me on LinkedIn. There's lots of interesting conversations going on there and across all sorts of industries.
Sure. Now, my father bought me a computer in 1979 when I was 4.5 years old, which was before the IBM
Giving
PC.
your age away here.
Yeah, and so I was wondering, what was your first technological experience, and when did you know that being a futurist would be in your future?
Atari games console for me is the one that
The 2600?
Exactly right. I remember my favourite game on that was Pong.
Yeah, the original, of course.
Exactly. And for me, the Atari was a game changer. I remember seeing that dot
literally
bouncing
a game.
around. Exactly,
yeah.
a game, and it changed everything. And what it did for me, that dot bouncing around on the screen, that was the future. That was where the world was going.
Yeah.
It showed where we had opportunity to take technology to do some really cool stuff. And I think from there things changed dramatically. Then the big other shift I saw was when we started to have computers at school that were networked and talked to each other. Again, a huge shift. And if I look back now, I had no idea, and I don't think anybody did, of just how fundamental that shift was going to be. I think now where we're starting to see some really big shifts, and I think 2016 is a really important point in now it will be in history. I think now we're seeing a combining and collision of these forces over the last few years, and 2016 we're going to see as a really big tipping point going ahead.
Well, let's hope so. So what advice do you have for young people today wanting to make their technological mark on the world and who, like Steve Jobs, aspire to leave a dent in the universe, or who wish to become a futurist like yourself?
Do you know,
or both, like you.
I have no idea how to become a futurist. That's that one.
Yeah.
The thing that I do know, though, if I look at all the people that are successful and entrepreneurs and people that are steaming ahead into this new era, no pun intended, with the transport industry and steam.
And where we are today, the Australian Technology Park.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The big thing I notice from them is they don't fear the future. They don't put up roadblocks in their head around why change is bad, or that people are going to lose jobs, or that technology is going and robots are going to come and fight us on the
Terminator
streets.
and all that sort of stuff.
That's the era that they don't let themselves get into. They make themselves a form of view of the world and how they can embrace change, embrace volatility. There's no doubt at all, times have never been as uncertain as what they are today, but the opportunities have never been
as exciting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I like to say that technology is our friend, and we just need to, not think. I mean, I like to think that science fiction is a warning to us to not let the Terminator's, style of things happen. So look, you spoke about driverless cars above, and how they're kind of here today, and we have mine sites where they have lots of driverless cars already. But what about things like artificial intelligence, proper android humanoid robots, teleportation, Star Trek-like ships and warp drive? When do you think those things will become a reality?
The artificial intelligence is a big topic this year, and it's going to continue to be. The thing is now, technology is getting more intelligent. It's taking that decision-making capability or decision-making need off us as human beings, and we're then able to go into new eras. The thing for me, though, is as humans, we're always going to have that last mile control. We will always have the ability to take over. The great thing for me with humans versus AI era that we're going into is, as humans, we have this innate ability to adapt to change. We have this ability to be able to think differently and out of the box. And that's something unique that we have that technology doesn't have.
Or at least not yet.
Exactly, not yet. And that was the point then I'm now going to make there. When that will start to change, that will not be in our lifetime.
Yeah.
That's the big thing that I do know. And from that perspective, we've got a good 20 years here to go through that era, and who knows what will happen beyond that.
Now, before we get towards the end of the interview, I always like to ask if you could just please share the best piece of advice you've ever received to help you get where you are today. Well, some of the best advice.
Yeah, look, I remember I once had a boss in England who said, never trust anyone that doesn't wear a belt. Always wear a belt. That's the best piece of advice.
Well, there you go. That's good. And do you have any final messages for ITWire viewers and readers and for your future audiences?
There's never been a better time to be in the business of technology than 2016. I promise you, if you put a marker in your calendar to look back at this point in 5 years' time, you will agree with me, this is the year that it happened. This is the era now where technology is creating something really special, and we're tipping into this new point, and that for me is a really exciting time, and times have never been as exciting.
Well, Chris Riddell, thank you very much, and no pun intended, but best of luck for the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.